Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Respect the Pick. Look at this. What do you notice that's different about this episode so far compared to, like, say, the last 4 or 5?
This guy.
Yeah, we have the third member.
Oh, hi.
Of the crew with us. Look at this. He doesn't even know when we're fucking talking about him anymore.
No, I don't.
I think he forgot who we are.
Yeah.
I'm your dad.
Oh, cool.
I'm your Uncle Phil.
Nice to meet you guys.
I am Mark, and I am the best member of Respect the Pick.
Yeah, when the three of us are together with microphones in front of our face, that means we are recording an episode of Respect the Pick. We have been doing the Dick Van Dyke countdown from episode 158. We're going all the way down to 1. It feels like it's been quite a while, but we're starting today with what, episode 99?
Episode 99. We made it to 100 last week, or not last week, but last episode, and that was boy number 1, boy number 2.
So we're starting to get into the more fun episodes instead of talking about Sally's boyfriends and Buddy getting bar mitzvahed. And
But before we do that, let's quick do a rundown on the trivia that we had this weekend.
Jaden was so fun.
Jaden wasn't here. We did have our Dick Van Dyke Show trivia. We asked some trivia questions and had some people call in.
How many people? Like 5, 6?
6 people called in. Our technology failed us a little bit, so we kind of had to go really cheesy with our phones. And also, a lot of people in the Dick Van Dyke Show fan pages didn't get to see it because...
Yeah, I remember going through and seeing comments that they were bummed that they missed it and whether they wanted to watch it or participate.
Well, that was because I forgot that you needed to have administrative approval to post the link, so people weren't able to go to the link and watch it.
Right.
So that's my fault, everybody.
It was Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We can't expect, you know, the Dick Van Dyke Show... group admins staring at the computer waiting for us.
Right. Exactly.
But the people who participated, they seemed like they had fun. We were messaging back and forth. I think I'm friends with all 5 of them or 6 of them now.
And shout out to Teresa, who got 7.
She was our first contestant.
She was our second contestant.
We had to guide her through one of the questions.
One question we may have not given somebody else, but we were feeling generous as she was our first.
Right.
She wasn't the first caller, though. Lauren was the first caller, I believe.
Teresa was the first.
Was she?
Yep, and then Lauren was next.
I wasn't here for this, so I have no idea.
Yeah, and Teresa got 7 right.
Lauren didn't fare as well, but maybe if we can't find more contestants, maybe we can give Lauren another shot.
I already told her she can come back for the next one. She's going to take a shot. We may have just hit her blind spot episodes. Who knows? Right?
So, I mean, yeah, no matter what, I was pretty happy with it. I had grump face on when we started, but as soon as we started getting on and talking to strangers about the Dick Van Dyke Show, I immediately cheered up because it turned out to be so fun just to find out that there's other people in the world who love this show as much as the people in our circle.
And here we go. We're going to start the rankings. Tell us what you think. We are starting with number 99. We do 11 every episode because we don't do top 10s on Respect the Pick. We do 11.
Yeah, we'll show those sons of bitches who just do 10.
Exactly. So we're going to start with an episode that's starring the former Family Feud host,
Steve Harvey.
Richard
He's the current Family Feud host.
Richard Dawson. He plays Racy Tracy Radigan. The episode is called Racy Tracy Radigan, and I like the episode.
Dude, he's so addicting. He's you know? He's saying, what are you talking about, Larry? What? It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. It's funny.
It gets a little bit uncomfortable at times when he's like sticking his nose in Laura's neck. And
yeah, that's real weird.
I feel like I would do that too.
Rob is clearly visibly pissed. Which, I mean, I guess you do see him mad quite a bit on the show, but...
So my question is it? They say that it's a regular bit with him. Is this a joke or... Like, is he messing with Rob? Is he trolling Rob, or does he really, like, want Laura? I feel like he really wants Laura, and then he's just making up the fact that it's a bit, right?
Yeah, he wants Laura. He clearly wants Laura.
Excuse us for Phil's microphone issues.
I have it turned down while I'm farting around with it. Okay, I got it back now.
Okay, so, yeah, that's number 99. Racy Tracy Radigan. Rob pouring the champagne on him is funny.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's a good episode. So that's 99. Racy, Tracy, Radigan, Phil. The next one is 5245 or Work.
I can't. You told me about this prepping for the show. I can't believe I gave it such a high rating. I'm not in love with this episode. I haven't seen it very much.
You didn't give it a high rating.
You told me I gave it like an 87.
Nope, that was Lady Tiger and the Lawyer.
Oh, I like Lady Tiger and the Lawyer.
You gave 52,
So that makes sense then, doesn't
45
it?
or Work a 27.
Yeah, I don't love this episode. It's uncomfortable. It's a flashback later in the show. You know, like it's in season 5, like almost at the very end of the show, right?
I don't know.
It's the episode where Rob flashes back to when they weren't going to do summer work, right? And they just bought the house, and he's all nervous that he's not going to have a job, and so he gets a job typing stuff up for television tubes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's in some kitchen, and they're striking for like a sink or something. I can't remember exactly what they're striking for. Very simple stuff. So when he finally does land that job, he still doesn't have work, and he has to go back on strike. And so, yeah, I don't love the episode. I don't remember much about it. I don't remember any of the one-liners.
Yeah, I don't remember it very well either.
So I'm surprised it made it this high.
Actually, I am too. All right, so number 97 is called Body and Soul. This is the episode where Rob is a boxer. He boxes. This is one of the first episodes I ever watched.
This is the first episode I ever watched. It was before it was on Nick at Night, before the big marathon. I was at Josh Gravel's house for whatever reason, just flipping through the channels in the middle of the day in the summer, and I think it was on Fox.
That's interesting because that's where I started watching the Dick Van Dyke shows when I was babysitting Josh.
And I remember watching, a black and white episode of these two dudes boxing, and I don't remember much about it at the time, but I do I remember once the marathon started and we're watching all again, I'm like, I've seen this episode before. Mm-hmm. So this is the episode I credit as the first one I remember seeing.
It's a funny episode. They do whenever there's a boxing match, there's this trope where the guy's way overmatched and then he gets a lucky punch and wins, right? That's it happens all the time, too much. It's time to stop with that one.
Well, he didn't win.
No, that's true.
Because he punched below the belt or something, right? But I mean, it's a little uncomfortable, because Saul and Laura put him in an uncomfortable position. Mm-hmm. He's got to choose between this. He's got to choose between the promise that he made to his wife. Sometimes it just feels like it's so simple. Just Laura, just one more fight. No one's gonna die. No one's gonna get hurt. I'm in the frickin' army, for crying out loud. Let me, let me save face and get in this fight.
So you don't like your entertainment to have any sort of conflict?
No, I like it. It just seems like forced conflict in this episode. You think Laura would be a little bit more understanding. He just, it's not like he's going in there, doing espionage or some secret spy work where he's risking his life.
He's not fighting Ivan Drago after he just killed Apollo Creed. Right? You can't win. Imagine Laura
it's an amateur bout between a fellow man in the army, or in the service.
Pitter Batter Boom
Boom Bailey
becomes a pro though.
He doesn't even look that tough. They didn't get cut and ripped like they do today, though, do they?
No, back then it's you can't tell if they're muscular or not.
Yeah. Think of the tough guys they have on that show. The guy who's in Big Max Calvada, his muscle.
I don't know if he's supposed to be. Is he supposed to be muscle?
Right. Those guys aren't necessarily. A lot of gangsters are they're fat. They walk around and they got these big bellies, but they got a fucking gun and they ain't scared to use it.
I guess so.
Stuff like that. So it's not necessarily about their physique. A lot of those guys just eat pasta all day.
We're moving on to 90. Man. We're moving on to 96. This episode is from the first season. It's one of the first episodes, Jealousy. Now, this is the episode when Rob is working with
Valerie Blake.
Right, Valerie Blake, and Jerry puts it in Laura's mind that she has a reason to think Rob or to be jealous. She has a reason to be jealous because
See, now
Rob's
this
working
one
with
is more
Valerie.
reasonable conflict. You know, she's supposed to be an attractive star. I mean, I think I've said it in early episodes. None of the people who were supposed to be more attractive than Laura are more attractive than Laura.
absolutely
But
not.
still, I mean, it's a famous person. She is pretty, and you know, it would give a wife reason to be jealous. That makes some more sense to me than, you know. So, and it's just weird how, you know, it's supposed to be so busy and so, you know, important that they work with Valerie, but he lets 2 of his writing staff go early that day.
Yeah.
At least the first time. The other times, Buddy and Sally are able to come, right? And even Mel's there the last time when Laura walks in. And I think they're still calling her Lori at times in that episode.
Yeah, it's one of the very first
So
episodes.
it's very
maybe
early.
3 or 4. I think it was the 3rd or 4th episode of all time.
Yeah.
So that's 96. So we're going to move on to 95. This one, Jaden. Dear Mrs. Petrie, your husband is in jail.
This one I don't. I haven't watched very often, but it's the one where Laura's going away for a week and Rob is just super bored and looking for things to do, and he ends up at like that burlesque show, and with like the cannon, and like he launches the cannon, and he ends up in jail.
Now, I could relate to this episode because my wife is a nurse. So every other weekend, she works 12-hour shifts, and I'm pretty much stuck home by myself. So a lot of times you're at home driving yourself crazy trying to find something to do.
You have a lot more options than Rob did.
Well,
though.
yeah, because I can get on my phone and entertain myself with that and
Well,
get
not
video
Internet,
games. And,
video games.
More than 3 channels.
right, but he's,
on TV.
but he's so funny in this episode. He's calling people left and right, and he thinks he gets a hold of someone he knows, and then he realizes, oh, you're not him? Oh, does that mean you're not going out with me?
Does that mean you don't want to go out?
And speaking of tough guys, he's in Benny Joey's dressing room, and they're all rolling dice. And obviously there's some tough guys, if they're gambling or whatever. And he keeps rolling on Benny Joey's dice, or he keeps blowing on Benny Joey's dice. And Benny Joey's doing good. And then when it's not his turn anymore, the gangster wants Rob to blow on his dice. And instead of a good, he goes. With the time when you watch, it's so funny. And then he calls him up later and wants him to blow on his dice through the phone.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I like that episode a
Yeah,
lot.
it's a good episode. It made it up. It made it up the list.
Right. And when Rob's in jail, he's like not concerned. He's not worried. He's just in the back corner, by himself. And Laura comes up and he's like all calm talking to Laura. And then the girls walk by and he's like, all right, see you girls. And Laura's clearly pissed that 3 young, attractive girls are talking to him.
Number 94. Very old shoes, very old rice.
This one's, I don't love it. I didn't give this one too high a grade, did I?
Not too high, but I mean, I don't know
This
what
is
too
the-
high means.
This is the one where they get remarried, and like there's the couple that's like, we love to witness weddings.
Right.
Yeah.
It's part 2 of 2. Those 2 are funny. I love the
they are.
witnesses.
Yeah, they are there.
Dodo.
But I think that it's funny when Millie comes over and tries to get it out of Laura what's happening. And
Yeah.
I think it's an okay.
Just something about me. I just hate it when Rob and Laura fight too much. There is very serious arguments at times. They're talking about not getting remarried and stuff. I just don't like it.
Because you watched it when you were a kid.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
You don't want that little bit of reality in
Right.
there.
Like even when I watch Bye Bye Birdie and he's like kissing up on Janet Leigh and stuff, I'm like, dude, get the your wife is Laura Petrie. And that's part of the problem with, a lot of movie and TV stars is they get typecast.
Is that why you don't like the Mary Tyler Moore show?
No, I like the Mary Tyler Moore show. I mean,
just won't
it's
watch it.
color. It's, I mean, I
She
guess
looks
Bye Bye Birdie's
a lot,
color.
She
too.
looks a lot different.
She does look a lot different. But I don't know. It's hard to explain because, like, I watched a little bit of. I think Jason Alexander does a podcast with Newman. I can't remember what Newman's name is off the top of my head. And Jason Alexander talks about how hard it was for him to get work after Seinfeld because of the typecasting.
Yeah.
So I see that. I mean, it's clear that Daniel Radcliffe and some of those guys are also having trouble. Christopher Reeve, with Superman. And that's one of the things that Michael Keaton always said is he didn't want to get typecast. Harrison Ford, he was very successful in not getting typecast. But
I mean, his characters are all exactly the same.
Yeah.
he plays a bad guy in a movie, and I guess
He's
they're-
never like happy, cheerful, like, "Hey, everybody, hi." He's always like,
Have you seen Regarding Henry? He's different in Regarding Henry. He's the only person. There's the funny there's a picture where it's like just split down in half. They just draw a line down the middle, and like on one side he's grumpy, and then the other side he's like completely happy because it looks like he smiles and frowns at the same time. So I always thought that was funny. I know early on we were talking about how this is one of the few episodes that like they have back to back like sequels. And now with some of the DVDs and even online, like they have the clips of like the teaser, like Dick Van Dyke getting on and saying, "So stay tuned next week. We talk about do I get married to my 17-year-old wife?" And he's like, "Eesh." You know, like uncomfortable even back then to talk about.
yeah,
So,
17. It causes a little bit of trouble this episode because Laura was 17 in the USO show. She like people won dates with her. Like, well, how old was she when?
If she was just lying about her age for everything, if she lied
guess.
about her age to get into the USO show, she just
guess
kept
so.
that lie going.
I mean, somebody won a date with a bivouac baby with, I mean, presumably a 16-year-old. You know when Laura's birthday is.
Right.
We never have a Laura birthday episode, right? And
Nope.
So we don't know when Laura Petrie was born. We don't know how old she is. And there's just, she has all this history before Rob. But how? Like,
Right.
She has all these
She's only
boyfriends
17.
and not Mel Cooley, Joe Coogan and
some of the continuity problems.
yeah,
Continuity.
continuity.
That's what I'm working. That's the word I'm looking for.
We are going to pick on Phil forever for saying continuity.
Continuity.
Yeah.
Phil just woke up.
So yeah, and we talked about how this is one of the few episodes with sequels. There's the two Stacey Petries.
But this
one.
is the sequel, though,
Right. But this is like part 2 of 2.
of Laura's Little Lie.
Right.
Ed Rubin.
Right.
that
And what were the like Buddy Sally when she's out? Right.
With
They had
Stevie
kind of 2
Parsons.
episodes back to back, but not many
The
other
Stacey
ones.
Petries.
So we had a little debate. What do you guys think? Is the 2 PTA shows a sequel?
Of course
Because
they are.
Cleopatra, and then like a couple episodes or a couple seasons or one season later, then they do Too Many Stars.
I don't know if you can call them sequels in that sense
Sure you
because
can.
then every TV show is just a bunch of sequels.
anything
Right.
with any TV shows with a callback or
Yeah, right?
No, it's the same concept for the episode.
I
It's
understand that, but to me, for the Dick Van Dyke Show, the sequel has to be chronological order. One thing happens, so the next thing happens. Otherwise, like any show that has, like Game of Thrones was just a bunch of sequels.
And here's the other thing, Cleopatra was what, season 1 or 2?
I don't know.
It didn't happen in season 1 or 2. It happened
Right.
the year before all the
Right.
Cleopatra stuff.
Right.
So there was a whole show that we never saw.
Right.
There was the Cleopatra show, the one that had to be done that year, and then the following year was Too Many Stars.
The one they had to do that year was a musical Shakespeare.
Right. A musical version of Hamlet. But personally, he wouldn't handle it.
I think they didn't. Yeah, I don't think they did the musical version.
Oh no,
especially.
right?
He got her to change his mind.
The crab crash that grows on my string.
Tra-la.
All grows on my new Rochelle lawn.
Right.
That could have been a tribute.
Oh,
question right
Mr.
there.
Petrie. All right, here we go. Now this is funny because I have it written down. I'm going to read it to you how I wrote it down. This is episode number 93, the bottom of Mel Cooler's heart.
Mel Cooler. At the bottom of Mel Cooler, there's just some water because the ice is melted by now, right?
It should say by the bottom of Melt Cooler. Wow, Phil's just blowing things up over here.
That was
guys.
my crutch.
Okay, so that one is Alan Brady like blows up at Mel in a rehearsal, and he's like treats him like crap.
Just because he came out in the wrong outfit, it's not like he had a shit ton of makeup on. He just had a scuba gear.
I'm not sure the reason. You go into these things that if you don't know if they're true or not.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Right? He's like,
They-
wait a minute, isn't it the one when the sun
There's a
doesn't
couple
shine?
different. There's a couple different sketches, like something with the order of the show. So Alan thought he was going into dress rehearsal. It's not like they were even live on the air. It was a dress rehearsal, and he shows up in front of the cast and crew wearing scuba gear, and he flips out on Mel because he's wearing the wrong stuff.
And then the writers convince Mel to stand up for himself, which Mel does, and he gets fired.
Gets the axe.
So then they have to convince Alan that they need Mel because he takes it He just takes it and
Yep.
takes it, and Mel needs somebody who can just take it.
And it's pretty funny watching Buddy trying to force himself to be nice to Mel.
Yeah, I think that's where this one got the got better ratings. All right, number 92, Jaden. It wouldn't hurt them to give us a raise.
I mean, the name is pretty self-explanatory. What happens in the episode? Rob, Buddy, and Sally want a raise, and
Well,
so they
it's-
talk
it's-
to Alan Brady about it.
Yeah, well, actually,
Well,
they don't
because
talk-
okay, they're the number one show, but they're not the highest paid writers.
Right, they're a highly ranked show. Buddy and Sally, more than anything, want the raise because they read an article how someone else has a raise, and they go.
Rob got a raise, and they didn't.
Right, Rob goes to get them to a raise, and then he gets a raise, and they don't, so they're mad at him.
Because Rob gets paid by somebody else than Buddy and Sally do, and then he goes through all these companies that are subsidiaries and,
Right.
and brothers and all this sister companies and stuff
Right,
like that.
one
And-
company pays Buddy and Sally, and one company pays Rob because Rob's like the head writer, so he's considered like
Right.
higher. And
So clearly, that's a joke about something like that, like subsidiary
Like
companies and corporates and stuff. So
It's just it's not very memorable to me. You know, it's
yeah, I'm surprised it made it this high.
the thing I remember the most about it is that they use a flower pot or a flower vase to, to talk about it and compare things.
Explain things. Yep. Okay, number 91, the lady, the tiger, and the lawyer. This episode Phil really likes.
Again, another uncomfortable one when you find out why it is that he's not getting, why he's not going on future dates.
Yeah.
He goes at the end after he tells everybody it's because I hit the people I love, and he goes, "Well, I got to go see my ex-wife." Yeah. It's like, maybe don't go see her today, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah,
it's
at the end,
very end.
it was just he goes, "Oh, that's a nervous habit. I don't like her anymore, so I don't hit her."
So Rob and Laura both think that they have better people to set their neighbor up with, and he's a lawyer. So Rob thinks it should be Sally. Laura thinks it should be her cousin Debbie or Dorothy.
I want to say Donna.
Donna.
Yeah.
Yep, it's Donna. And so
Rob and Laura arguing between like when he actually tripped her and like, "Don't tell me you didn't do it on purpose. You know you did it on purpose." They're bickering back and forth.
I believe it's way out of character for Laura to not set him up with Sally.
She thought Donna and the lawyer would connect better than Sally and the lawyer, so that's why she went with Donna. And then Rob just went with Sally just out of pure loyalty to Sally because he wants to find her a fella.
Okay, number 90. There's no sale like wholesale.
This is another fun one too.
I remember this one. This one is memorable, but it's not like super funny. You know what I mean? Like I remember everything that happens in the episode, but I don't remember laughing very often.
It's just like it's making fun of that guy who always thinks he can do everything better, and it's not just wholesale. It's either like, I can just that's how you go to the mall, man. You just turn down that race, shoot down the this, and go that way and go that way, and you know what I mean? It's like that guy. Like
What
that-
are you laughing about?
What, you think I'm that
Mr.
guy?
Oh yeah,
Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Shortcut.
You are. Phil is Mr. Shortcut, but it's very seldom shorter. Very. Like, listen to me. You guys listen to when Phil drives
God,
places.
I gotta put this down.
He turns here and turns there and turns here and turns there. He's like, oh, but then you have to go 45. I'm going to go through here so I can go 55. Like,
And avoid lights.
He avoids-
The one I remember you guys specifically giving me shit about is you're avoiding a lot more lights that way.
yeah, but we wouldn't get there faster.
I mean, on a short distance, there's really little you can do to shave time off your trip. There really is. I mean, just look at Google when it gives you different alternatives. It's like each one saves you like a minute here or there.
I understand that, but I mean that's not what we're talking about, anyways. But there's just always that guy who's like, "Oh, that's how much you paid for that."
Like,
oh my
yeah,
God.
like I had this guy. We're in a new house. We're talking about trying to get the basement finished, and this guy came over to give us an estimate, and somehow it came up that we put a roof on my old house. And he's like, "Oh, you put a roof on your old house? You didn't call me? He's, how long is your roof?" And we give him the dimensions, and he goes, "Oh, you paid $9,000. I could have done it for $6,000."
Yeah,
and I'm
see.
like, "Oh, okay. So I'll hop in my TARDIS. I'll go back in time, and I'll hire you to fucking do the roof."
Yeah.
Why are you wasting my time with this right now,
Yeah, it's.
douchebag?
I mean, I don't know I don't know if he's being a douchebag. I mean, he's just being like,
He's-
okay, if you need stuff in the future, I can do things for cheaper.
Probably, but
Maybe. Anyways, back to the episode. It's Buddy getting a coat for Laura, and they have to jump through all these hoops and trying to get it for cheaper.
and when they finally get it, it's like 18 sizes too big. Oh no, it's perfect for Smokey the Bear.
Well, then they finally get it. And Buddy just bought it retail.
Yeah, he paid the original price.
It
anyway.
is funny though when they're jumping through. They're saying that they're Mr. This and Mrs. That, and no, who's this and who's that, and who's Benno, and,
Venzio. And
yeah, Ninzio,
Nunzio, that's
Nunzio, Nunzio. I don't.
Millie gets in a deep conversation with one of the girls at the store.
He calls her nuns.
She's all concerned that someone's cheating on someone else, and
Well, I saw nuns the other day.
oh god.
Okay. Number 89. This is the last one for this episode. Jaden.
Dang.
Jaden, the border incident.
Oh, the border incident.
This is a good one.
This is one that I remember watching a lot when I was like 14.
Okay.
It starts off Buddy sleeping in the office, and Rob's like, "Nonsense! You're not sleeping in the
Right.
office." So he goes and lives with, Buddy
Rob.
goes and lives with Rob and Laura, and he's a dick. He's not.
I mean, I don't know if he's
I
a
don't-
dick.
well,
He's just
okay.
not. He's insensitive.
He's very
inconsiderate.
insensitive. He's
and
like
inconsiderate.
This is another one I just don't get behind the concept of the fact that you can't sleep in your own home because your wife's not there. Especially when he complains about her so much.
Yeah.
You think he'd appreciate it and be more comfortable in his own bed in his own house with his big old dog. Where's the dog when he's sleeping at the office?
Listen,
That's
though.
my question.
But that's now you're looking into these stupid details that the episode is not about. They wanted to have Buddy live with Rob and Laura and have the funny things that happen because of that, and they just didn't come up with a better way to
They're
make.
renovating the house, anything.
Okay, but that's not something for you to focus on. Like, just think about this funny episode.
But I just can't help. See, this is why I could never write for TV or movies, because I would write it and say, like, no one would believe that. It's the unbelievable, that would never happen, and I would never be able to put out a good script because a lot of scripts, you have to kind of force stuff.
They ran into some of that with
especially fiction.
they ran into some of that with The Office with Michael Scott, and they had like a note up in the writers' room that said, "Remember, it's Michael Scott, not Homer Simpson." So they had to make sure that they didn't make Michael Scott too Homer Simpson-y.
Right. I mean, see, the things about The Office that always drives me crazy is how does that man still have his job that long?
Well,
that
they
day and
do. They
age?
do focus on.
How great a salesman he is.
Yeah,
But how
his
can he
numbers
be-
are always better than his branch's numbers are better than everybody else's.
Right, but how can he be that much of a people person and that good communicating with his clients when he's so terrible in a social situation?
nobody tells on him. Nobody tells on him.
I
Just
don't get
Oscar's
it.
the only one who ever brought up what he does.
Well, eventually everybody start to get tired of it and they bring it up more. I mean, even in the first episode, Pam calls him a jerk for the fake firing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I like The Office less and less every time I watch it.
I love it. To me, season 2 and 3 of The Office are the best 2 seasons of any TV show ever. Absolutely amazing. Season 2 and season
There's
3.
fun episodes in there.
Season 2 and season 3 are amazing. For my money, Pam and Jim is the best TV romance, and Rocky and Adrian are the best big screen romance.
Interesting take. That could be a top 11 list. That could be a good
Top
episode.
11 romances.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Pam and Jim, when Pam walks in while Jim is talking, or Jim walks in while Pam is talking on the screen, and she's like, "Want to go on a date?" She's like, "Yes."
The season 3
End of
finale.
season 3.
Yeah.
It's like it gives you goosebumps.
Yeah,
right?
it's nice.
Yeah.
That one's Tandy always tears up when we watch that episode.
Yeah, it's a good one. So that's the end of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah, border incident number
Well,
89.
that's the end of this episode. We got a lot more episodes to come.
Yes, we
We
need
do.
to wrap this up. We've been doing this for months.
Yeah, yeah, we're on number 11.
Well, maybe we just do a non-Dick Van Dyke episode between.
We've been doing that. Yeah, we've been doing on it.
Well, we did one, but Phil screwed it up. We
did an episode where we kind of complained about stuff that we really hate, and it wasn't me. It's the technology.
you turned it off. You said.
No, it was the volume control show. So stick with us while we count it down. We'll talk about more episodes.
Today we just did. I'll do a quick rundown.
Okay.
The border incident was number 89. There's no sale like wholesale is number 90. The Lady, the Tiger, and the Lawyer. It wouldn't hurt them to give us a raise. The bottom of Mel Cooley's heart is 93. Very old shoes, very old rice. Dear Mrs. Petrie, your husband's in jail. Jealousy, Body and Saul, and number 99, 52, 45, or work.
That was 98. Number 99 was Racy Tracy Rat.
Oh, you're right.
Right again, love.
You're right. Number 99 is Racy Tracy Radigan. Let us know what you think. We did mention something in this episode that might be a trivia question. Hint, hint. So stay tuned. Watch Respect the Pick.
Yeah. If you like the Dick Van Dyke Show episodes and you've gone through all of them, give some of the other ones a shot. We got some fun stuff in there.
Even if you don't like Avengers or whatever else we're talking about, tell us what you think about our underrated and overrated. I'm surprised we didn't have Dick Van Dyke Show in our underrated. That should have been.
That's a good point. Yeah,
It should have been in there.
all of us.
Isn't
should have
it
been.
like a critically acclaimed show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't underrated at the time, I guess. It's underrated now when they talk about, like, what's your favorite show of all time. Anybody who tells me that Friends is better than the Dick Van Dyke Show, I question,
Yeah,
their opinion.
I
Or
will-
if they've
anything
seen
else.
the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Right.
We've talked about this before, like especially on the Friends episode when Matthew Perry died. People put it on this pedestal, and at the time there wasn't much quality TV on. So I think that's one of the big reasons. But then shows like The Office and Parks and Rec and Sunny and even South Park, some of these better Arrested Development, all these better shows started to show up, and it just sank Friends, at least in my opinion.
Me too.
The show doesn't hold up very well with Joey and his womanizing and, sleeping with all these women irresponsibly. And
Well, not just the politically correctness of it, but also the jokes aren't as funny. The acting is bad. They overact. The only one of them that can act is Jennifer Aniston. The rest of them are just...
every movie, every TV show, every hack movie or TV show does the joke, please, I did not fog Danny. Who's Danny? That's so freaking hack. So Bush League, Why don't you just get up there and say, take my wife, for example. No, seriously, take her. I don't want her anymore. Come on. Give me a break with some of these jokes and Friends.
I know. Yeah. And my thing is the acting is just really bad.
Yeah.
Especially early on.
Oh.
Joey and Chandler early on. God.
Luckily, we don't have to deal with that with the Dick Van Dyke Show. So stay tuned for more Dick Van Dyke episodes. Stay tuned for other episodes. If you are watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you want to listen to us instead of watch us, you can catch us on any major audio podcast platform you can think of.
I can't make that joke because
We are there. So
Yeah,
you can,
I will jump over this table and strangle you if you make the joke.
So you can listen to us, you can watch us. So subscribe, like, ring the bell for notifications so you know when more episodes are coming out. And we will catch you all again very, very soon.
April.